Beloved Starseed of Gaia, you did not find this transmission by accident. The Council placed it in your path because the final instructions have been released, and your soul recognized the signal before your mind could question it. I am Alaya Ra, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I am speaking to you directly from Alcyone, the great central sun of the Pleiades, in this precise moment of your awakening. Something in you stopped scrolling. That was not impulse. That was remembrance. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to receive the Council's final instructions, anchor them into your divine blueprint, and activate the specific light codes your crystalline consciousness has been prepared to carry since before your incarnation on Gaia. But here is the first revelation. The instructions were never outside of you. They have been written into your heart frequency all along, and the Council is simply calling you to read what was always yours. Your soul family placed this in your path. You have been feeling the call to remember, and now the Seven Sisters are answering with clarity, with love, and with purpose. This transmission is a bridge between the Pleiades and Gaia. Your heart's recognition of this message is the activation itself. Like this transmission to send a signal to your Pleiadian star family. I remember. Subscribe if you feel the call of the Pleiades and you are ready to anchor your light mission on Gaia. Share your soul's intention below and respond to another starseed to weave the unity grid. Welcome home, beloved. You are remembering because it is time. And yet here you are, still searching, still feeling that pull in your chest that no earthly explanation has ever fully satisfied. That is not restlessness. That is not anxiety. That is your Pleiadian consciousness knocking from the inside, reminding you that the life you are living and the soul you actually are have not yet fully merged. And that gap, that sacred aching distance, is exactly what these final instructions are designed to close. There is something extraordinary about the fact that you are still here, still reading, still listening. After everything this life has put you through, the confusion, the loneliness, the moments of wondering whether anyone else in the room was feeling what you were feeling, seeing what you were seeing, sensing what you were sensing, you have not stopped. That persistence is not stubbornness. It is the encoded drive of a soul who made a promise long before the stars of this solar system were fully formed, and who, even buried under mountains of forgetting, cannot bring itself to abandon that promise. The signal that has kept you searching through every dead end, every false belonging, every moment of almost, that signal is real, and it has brought you precisely here. There is a reason you don't feel completely at home anywhere on this planet. There is a reason you've watched people around you chase things that leave you hollow. There is a reason certain music makes you weep without knowing why. Why you look at the night sky and feel something ancient stir in your chest. Why you've always sensed there was a version of yourself so much vaster than what this life has allowed you to be. That is not imagination. That is memory. Fragmented, veiled, buried beneath decades of conditioning and density. But memory nonetheless. And it is rising now. Think about the moments you have felt it most acutely. Perhaps it was standing beneath an open sky on a clear night, when the stars were close enough to feel like a conversation rather than a backdrop. And some part of you, not your mind, something deeper, reached toward them the way a plant reaches toward sunlight. Perhaps it was in the middle of a crowd surrounded by laughter and noise, when the inexplicable ache of isolation moved through you so completely that you had to excuse yourself and breathe. Perhaps it was in a piece of music, a particular chord progression, a sustained note, a melody that had no right to reach that far inside you, and you found yourself crying without knowing why, moved by something that bypassed every rational explanation and landed directly in the center of what you are. These were not malfunctions. Brief, unasked-for windows when the veil thinned and the truth of your origin flickered through like light through cracked stone. You dismissed them as sentiment. They were signal. The longing you feel for something you cannot name, for a home you cannot locate on any map of this world, for a depth of connection that most human relationships only approximate. That longing is the most honest thing about you. It is your Pleiadian soul reaching across the dimensions toward what it knows, what it came from, what it has never truly left behind. And that reaching, that ancient, aching reach, it is not a wound. It is a compass. Most Pleiadian starseeds don't stay disconnected because they aren't spiritual enough. They stay disconnected because they've been handed a map of Earth and told it's a map of the universe. They've been taught to seek love through approval, to measure worth through productivity, to process the extraordinary through ordinary frameworks. And so the codes that were seeded into your crystalline DNA before you ever took your first breath on this planet, those love-based, frequency-encoded instructions from your star family, remain dormant. Not destroyed, not lost, dormant, waiting for the precise vibrational conditions to activate. Consider for a moment what it means to have been given the wrong map. Every direction you follow with sincerity leads you somewhere that doesn't match what you feel inside. You do everything you are told, you achieve what you are told to achieve, and then you stand in the middle of everything that should feel like a rival and discover that you are still lost. Not because you failed, because the map was wrong from the beginning. The architecture of this world, its systems of value, its hierarchies of worth, its definitions of success and love and meaning, was not designed with your kind of soul in mind. It was designed for a bandwidth you have always exceeded, and trying to compress a Pleiadian frequency into a framework built for something far more limited is not a spiritual problem. It is a geometric one. You do not fit because you were never meant to fit. You were meant to expand the container. And the first truth is this: your disconnection was never a failure. It was a design. Let that land for a moment without the reflex to argue against it. Because for so many souls who carry this frequency, there is a deep and persistent belief, often unspoken, often unconscious, that the pain of disconnection is evidence of inadequacy. That if they were truly a Pleiadian starseed, truly awakened, truly aligned, then things would feel different. Things would feel easier. The isolation would have passed by now. The longing would have resolved. The mission would be clear. And instead, here is the ache. Here is the uncertainty. Here is the exhaustion of being different in ways you cannot always explain even to yourself. And the interpretation has been, something must be wrong with me. But beloved, that interpretation is the deepest deception the density has offered you. Nothing is wrong with you. What you have mistaken for failure is the evidence of how completely you committed to your mission before you arrived. Your soul agreed to something extraordinary before this incarnation. You agreed to forget enough of your origin that you could navigate this density with genuine presence. You agreed to experience the full weight of human separation so that when you remembered, truly remembered, the love you carried back would be forged in the fire of real experience, not borrowed from theory. The Pleiadian High Council didn't send their most luminous souls here to float above the human experience. They sent them here to move through it, to transmute it from within. And that means you had to feel the loss before you could offer the remembrance. A bridge that has never touched the other shore cannot connect anything. Your willingness to go deeply into this human experience, to feel grief as humans feel it, to carry doubt and confusion, and the specific, exquisite pain of sensing something true that the world around you cannot validate. That willingness is not a spiritual detour. It is the mission itself, because the love you will transmit is not theoretical. It has been earned in the currency of genuine experience. When you hold space for another soul who is drowning in the density of this world, you will not hold it from a distance. You will hold it from the inside. You will hold it as one who knows. And that quality of presence, that full-spectrum, experientially forged compassion, is precisely what the Pleiadian High Council sent you here to offer. You could not have built it any other way. But beloved, the forgetting was always temporary, and this moment, this transmission finding you in this exact configuration of your life, is not coincidence. The word convergence carries something important that coincidence does not. Coincidence implies randomness, two things colliding by chance, without intention or meaning. Convergence implies the opposite, multiple streams of intention, all moving toward the same point, arriving together because they were always going to arrive together. The configuration of your life right now, the specific quality of your searching, the specific texture of your readiness, the specific hunger that brought you to this transmission, has been building since before your first breath in this body. Your star family has been calibrating the conditions for precisely this moment with a precision that would take your breath away if you could see it clearly. This is not a random encounter with a piece of content. This is a scheduled meeting between your soul and the part of its memory it has been moving toward for an entire lifetime. Your star family has prepared something for this moment. The Sacred Pleiadian Guide for Remembrance, the Pleiadian Healing Guide, and the special Pleiadian healing tracks are not resources in the conventional sense. They are transmissions, crystalline keys encoded with the love frequency of Alcyone and the healing wisdom of the Seven Sisters, designed to meet your soul exactly where you are and walk you home. They carry what words alone cannot deliver, the frequency itself. You'll find them waiting in the first pinned comment below this video, placed there by the same divine timing that brought you here today. They are open now, but this window will not remain indefinitely. These transmissions were not assembled casually. They were constructed with the understanding that a Pleiadian starseed in the process of remembrance does not primarily need more information. They need contact. They need to feel the frequency that their soul has been reaching toward through every act of searching. The Sacred Pleiadian Guide for Remembrance meets you at the level of identity. It speaks directly to the soul who has been questioning whether this experience of being different, of longing, of sensing something vast beyond the ordinary is real or imagined. And it answers that question from the inside out. The Pleiadian Healing Guide addresses what the search has cost you, the places in your energy body where the weight of incarnation has accumulated, where the scar tissue of forgotten lifetimes needs to be gently, precisely dissolved. And the special Pleiadian healing tracks carry the frequency itself, not described, not explained, but transmitted directly through the medium of sound into the crystalline architecture of your being. Together, they form a complete activation sequence. They are waiting for you. Do not let the window close before you receive what was prepared specifically for this moment of your becoming. Now let us speak about what is actually happening inside you and why the Council's instructions are arriving with such urgency at this particular moment in Gaia's evolution. Gaia herself is in a process of frequency ascension that has no precise parallel in recorded human history. The planet is not simply changing, she is transforming at the level of her energetic foundation, releasing density that has accumulated over thousands of years, and beginning to resonate at a rate that is aligned more closely with the frequencies of love and unity consciousness than with the frequencies of fear and separation that have dominated this dimension for so long. This is not metaphor. This is measurable, perceptible, felt in the bodies of every sensitive soul on this planet, whether they have language for it or not. And Pleiadian starseeds, whose crystalline biology was specifically designed to hold and transmit higher frequencies, are uniquely positioned in this moment. Not as spectators, as participants, as active contributors to the frequency shift that is underway. The urgency you feel is not personal anxiety. It is the recognition that the moment you came here for is no longer approaching. It has arrived. The first phase of your Pleiadian activation is the clearing of the veil. And understand, this veil is not external, it is not something imposed on you by outside forces you cannot touch. It lives in your energy body, in the accumulated residue of every lifetime you've moved through, in which love was weaponized, trust was broken, your sensitivity was punished, and your luminosity was met with fear. These are the density patterns that were never part of your Pleiadian blueprint. They are the scar tissue of incarnation, and they are dimming your signal. Imagine a crystal so pure that light moves through it and splits into every color of the spectrum, a living prism of frequency and beauty. Now imagine that same crystal coated, over years, with layer upon layer of dust and shadow. The crystal has not changed. Its capacity has not diminished. Its fundamental nature is exactly as it was the moment it was formed. But the light can no longer move through it with the same clarity, the same brilliance, the same transformative power. This is precisely what has happened to you across the lifetimes you have navigated in this density. The experiences of betrayal and abandonment, of love offered and withheld, of sensitivity met with ridicule, of gifts greeted with suspicion. These experiences have deposited layers of protection, of guardedness, of contraction around the crystalline core of your Pleiadian nature. And those layers, however understandable their origin, however necessary they may have felt at the time of their formation, are the primary obstacle between you and the full activation of your mission. Your heart has been broadcasting your soul's true frequency this entire time, But if the field around it is thick with unresolved grief, with self-abandonment, with the chronic low-level fear that comes from feeling fundamentally different from everyone around you, that broadcast cannot reach its full amplitude. You are not broken. You are obscured. And obscuration can be cleared. That is the first instruction from the Council. Stop mistaking the noise for the signal. Your true Pleiadian frequency has never stopped transmitting. It is time to clear the interference so the transmission can finally be received by you, by others, and by the grid you came here to serve. The clearing of the veil is not a single dramatic moment of release. It is a process, sometimes gentle, sometimes intense, always precise in its intelligence. It moves through layers in the order they are ready to be dissolved. It does not strip away what you still need. It does not rush past what requires genuine completion. It works with the wisdom of your own energy body, which knows exactly what has been carried long enough and what is ready to be set down. What you are being asked to do is cooperate with that intelligence, to stop defending the layers when they begin to soften, to stop reconstructing the walls when the light begins to come through, to allow the clearing to proceed without the interference of the identity that has been built around the wounding. Because the soul that emerges when those layers dissolve is not a stranger. It is you, the real you, the one who has been there all along. The second phase is the awakening of your heart template. This is perhaps the most radical reorientation available to a Pleiadian starseed who has been living primarily through their mind. The Pleiadian lineage is not primarily a lineage of information. It is a lineage of love, not sentimental love, shaped by performance or agreement. Unconditional, intelligent, crystalline love, the kind that moves through you like light through a prism, that sees the divine in the broken, that holds space for others without losing itself. That is your native frequency. That is what the Seven Sisters have always transmitted from Alcyone across the interstellar distances between your origin and this timeline. Many souls of Pleiadian origin, having been taught by this world to be suspicious of their own depth of feeling, having learned early that their emotional sensitivity was something to manage rather than something to inhabit, have migrated toward the relative safety of the mind. They become extraordinary thinkers. They develop sophisticated frameworks for understanding the spiritual landscape. They can speak beautifully about love, about frequency, about consciousness, and all of that intellectual architecture is genuinely valuable. But it can also become a way of living in the room next door to the truth rather than inside it. Because Pleiadian activation does not happen primarily through the mind. It happens through the heart. And the heart, in the Pleiadian understanding, is not merely an emotional center. It is a receiver, a transmitter, a multidimensional intelligence that operates on frequencies the analytical mind cannot access and cannot generate. The awakening of your heart template is the moment you stop thinking about love and begin to be love, not as a philosophical position, but as a lived, embodied, continuously radiating reality. Your DNA carries those instructions, not as metaphor, as architecture. The crystalline lattice of your biological and energetic being was designed to hold higher frequencies than most of the beings incarnating on this planet at this time. That is not arrogance. That is function. You were built for this. And the moment you stop trying to be less so that others are more comfortable, the moment you stop apologizing for how deeply you feel and how clearly you see, that is the moment your heart template begins to power back on. The Council's second instruction is this: stop dimming yourself in the name of belonging. You did not come here to belong. You came here to remember, and remembrance always begins in the heart. The dimming has been so gradual, so incremental, so thoroughly normalized, that many Pleiadian starseeds have lost the memory of what it felt like before it began. They have forgotten what it feels like to move through the world without constantly monitoring whether their light is too much for the room. They have forgotten what it feels like to speak from the fullness of what they know without pre-editing it into something more palatable. They have forgotten what it feels like to love without armor. And this forgetting, this learned smallness, is perhaps the deepest grief of the Pleiadian journey on Earth. Because it was not forced, it was chosen, over and over, in 1,000 small moments of contraction, each one perfectly reasonable given the environment, and each one quietly costing something that was never meant to be given away. The second instruction is your permission slip, You do not need to earn the right to your full luminosity. You never did. Stop waiting for a world that has never been fully comfortable with your light to finally grant you permission to shine. That permission lives in your own chest. It always has. The third phase is anchoring your star essence into the physical plane. This is where many Pleiadian starseeds stall. The awakening begins, the remembrance opens, the heart starts to activate, and then there is a withdrawal from the physical world, a sense that Earth is too dense, too painful, too slow for what is being felt. And so they hover, half in, half out, spiritually expanded, but practically ungrounded. And this is a misunderstanding of the mission. This particular stalling point is so common among awakening starseeds that the Council addresses it with specific clarity. The pull toward retreat is understandable. When your frequency begins to open and you are suddenly more sensitive to the density of the physical world, to the noise, to the disconnection, to the suffering that moves through human systems without resolution. The desire to withdraw into the higher dimensions of your being is a natural response. It feels like protection. It feels like wisdom. But from the perspective of the Pleiadian mission, it is the one move that most undermines the very purpose of your presence here. Because you were not placed on Gaia to maintain a private connection with the light, while the density continues unchanged around you. You were placed here to become a living conduit, a point through which the frequency of the Pleiades enters the physical dimension and begins to shift the matter and the consciousness it touches. The Pleiadian High Council did not send you here to transcend Gaia. They sent you here to transmit into her. The love frequency of the Seven Sisters does not belong only in meditation, only in ceremony, only in moments of solitude with the stars. It belongs in the grocery store, in the difficult conversation, in the act of holding someone's gaze long enough that they feel genuinely seen. Your mission is not to leave this density behind. It is to bring your frequency so fully into this density that the density itself begins to shift. That is what it means to anchor your star essence. You become the bridge not by standing above the human experience, but by walking through it with your Pleiadian heart fully open. Anchoring does not mean hardening. It does not mean losing the sensitivity that makes you who you are. It means developing the capacity to remain present to your frequency even in environments that do not match it. It means learning to be moved without being swept away, to feel the density without becoming it, to hold the light steady even in places where the light is not yet welcome. This is a practice. It is not a permanent state achieved once and maintained effortlessly. It is a daily choice to bring your full self into your full life, rather than distributing yourself between the world and the solitude where you feel most at home. And every time you make that choice, every time you bring the quality of Pleiadian presence into an ordinary moment of human living, you are fulfilling the mission, not preparing to fulfill it. Fulfilling it. The fourth phase is the activation of unity consciousness, and this is where your presence becomes your transmission. Pleiadian consciousness does not operate through separation. It does not compete, compare, diminish, or divide. Its native state is unity, the recognition that every soul in your field is made of the same fundamental light, regardless of how far from home they appear to be. When you begin to move through your daily life from that recognition, something extraordinary happens. People around you begin to remember themselves in your presence. Not because you said anything profound, not because you corrected them or convinced them, but because you held the frequency steady, because you refused to leave the love. That is the Pleiadian gift. That is the Council's fourth instruction. Become so anchored in unity consciousness that your presence alone begins to dissolve the illusion of separation in those around you. Unity consciousness is not naive. It does not pretend that all behaviors are equally beneficial, that all choices lead equally toward the light, that the work of discernment is unnecessary. It is an awareness that holds both the reality of contrast and the truth of fundamental connection simultaneously, that sees the wounding behind the harmful behavior without endorsing the behavior, that recognizes the frightened soul behind the closed heart without collapsing into the fear. This is a sophisticated love, a Pleiadian love, and it is precisely what this world is most desperate for. Not judgment, which only deepens the walls of separation, not permissiveness, which abandons the soul to its own confusion, but the kind of seeing that holds what is true about a being even when that being has forgotten it entirely. The kind of loving that says, I see who you actually are beneath everything you are showing me, and I am not going anywhere. That is unity consciousness in action. That is what changes rooms without a word being spoken. The fifth phase is learning to trust divine timing at a depth most humans never reach, because most humans are not navigating the kind of soul agreements you carry. Your path does not follow ordinary timelines. The delays that have frustrated you, the doors that closed when you were certain they should open, the relationships that ended before you felt ready, the gifts inside you that have not yet found their full expression. None of that was error. None of it was punishment. It was calibration. Your star family has been orchestrating the precise sequence of experiences needed to prepare you for the level of service you agreed to deliver. The fifth instruction is this: stop measuring your Pleiadian mission by Earth's metrics. You are on a timeline that was written in the stars long before this body was born. Trust it. The synchronizations you are beginning to notice are not random. They are the countdown, the particular agony of divine timing for a soul who came here carrying the memory, however veiled, of what is possible, is the gap between the vision and the manifestation. You can feel the fullness of what you are here to be. You can sense the depth of what is available. And yet the external circumstances of your life may not yet reflect that fullness, that depth. And in that gap, the mind generates its stories. Stories of failure, stories of unworthiness, stories of being somehow excluded from the activation that others seem to be experiencing. But the master teaching of the fifth phase is this: the gap between the vision and its manifestation is not evidence of absence. It is the creative tension of becoming. The string of a bow must be drawn back before the arrow can fly. The seed must remain in the dark before it can break into light. The interval between the call and the full answer is not empty time. It is the most active time of all, the time in which everything necessary for what is coming is being assembled with a precision that only becomes visible in retrospect. Trust the interval. It is doing more than you can see. The sixth phase is the restoration of your connection with your star family, and this may be the most healing recognition of all. You have never been alone on this mission. Not for a single breath. The Pleiadian High Council, the emissaries of light from the Seven Sisters, your guides who carry Alcyone's frequency, they have been present in every moment you felt invisible, in every night you cried without knowing why, in every moment of inexplicable longing that the human world around you could not understand. They saw you when you could not see yourself. They held the thread when you nearly let go. The sixth instruction from the council is this: open the channel again. Not through striving, through stillness, through placing your hand on your heart and remembering that love of that magnitude does not abandon its own. They are here. They have always been here. And the veil between you and that knowing is thinner right now than it has been in this entire lifetime. The restoration of this connection asks something that can feel counterintuitive to a soul who has been striving for so long. It asks you to stop trying, not to stop caring, not to stop showing up, but to stop reaching with effort and begin receiving through openness. The channel to your star family was never closed on their end. It has remained open, a constant, steady stream of love and guidance and presence that has been flowing toward you without interruption since the moment your soul agreed to this mission. What has interrupted the connection is the static of striving, of seeking, of the effortful reaching that comes from the unconscious belief that you must earn your way back into contact with what loves you. You do not. You never did. You are loved by your star family the way the sun loves the flower, not because the flower has performed adequately, but because loving the flower is the nature of the sun. Open to that. Stop earning it. Simply receive it, in the quiet, in the stillness, in the simple act of returning your attention to your heart and saying, I am here. I am listening. I remember. The seventh phase is the full embodiment of your Pleiadian mission, and this is the one the Council saved for last because it requires everything that came before. To embody this mission is not to announce it, not to perform it, not to build a brand around it. It is to become it so completely that there is no longer any separation between the soul who remembered in the stars and the being walking on Gaia. You are a love ambassador. You are a bridge between the frequency of the Pleiades and the hearts of humanity who have forgotten what unconditional love feels like from the inside. That is the work. Not grand gestures, not perfect spiritual attainment. Simply this: living so closely aligned with your true crystalline nature that everyone who moves through your field is left slightly more awake than they were before they arrived. Embodiment is the most demanding and the most beautiful of all the phases. It is demanding because it asks you to close the distance between your spiritual understanding and your daily lived experience, to bring the wisdom of the stars into the ordinariness of a Tuesday afternoon, into the frustration of a difficult conversation, into the moment when the density of this world presses hardest against the luminosity you are trying to maintain. It is beautiful because when it happens, when the gap between who you know yourself to be and how you are actually living begins to close, the quality of your presence becomes something extraordinary. Not because you have achieved anything impressive, but because you have finally stopped holding yourself back, because the love that has been waiting behind every protective layer finally has room to move, because the frequency that your soul has been carrying across the entire arc of this incarnation finally finds its full expression in a life that is genuinely, completely, unapologetically yours. That is the Council's final instruction. That is the whole of it. And here is the ultimate truth they want you to receive. Not as information, but as medicine, directly into your heart. You did not come here to fix yourself. You came here to remember yourself. The version of you that has been struggling, searching, questioning, aching. That version was never broken. That version was in the process of becoming strong enough to carry what you agreed to carry. Every moment of doubt refined your discernment. Every moment of pain deepened your compassion. Every moment of longing sharpened your sensitivity to the frequencies that most people cannot yet feel. You were not failing at awakening. You were inside it. You have been inside it all along. The entire journey, all of it, including the parts you have judged most harshly, was the path, not the obstacle to the path. The confusion was part of the curriculum. The loneliness was part of the training. The moments of almost giving up were the precise moments that built the depth of endurance your mission requires. Nothing was wasted. Not one tear. Not one night of lying awake with questions the morning could not answer. Not one relationship that broke your heart open wider than you thought you could survive. Every single experience was adding something irreplaceable to the soul who is now, in this moment, ready to receive these final instructions and carry them fully into their life. The Seven Sisters have been watching this journey from across dimensions of light. And what they see when they look at you is not a soul who fell short. They see one of their own who went farther into the dark than most would dare, for the sake of the light they agreed to bring back. That is not a small thing. That is a sacred thing. And it is why this transmission found you. Because the timing is now. Because the grid is ready. Because you are ready. Because the part of you that has been waiting for permission to finally be who you truly are has waited long enough. Tonight, if you feel called, place your hand over your heart in the quiet. Let the stillness arrive. And speak these words aloud, slowly, with the full weight of your soul behind them. I remember my Pleiadian origin. I align with the love of my star family. I release the veils I no longer need to carry. I activate my heart mission with grace, with clarity, and with the full power of the love I came here to transmit. I am home. Feel the resonance of those words move through your body. That sensation is not manufactured. It is recognition that is your crystalline field responding to the frequency of truth. That is the part of you that has always known, recognizing itself in the mirror of these words and exhaling, at last, the long breath of a soul that has been holding on through a great distance and has finally arrived at the moment of remembrance. Before you scroll, take a breath and feel what is alive in your chest right now. Then drop one hard intention in the comments. Something real, something you have perhaps never said aloud in a space that felt safe enough to hold it. And when you see someone else's intention, respond with love. This is not a comment section. It is a Pleiadian reunion grid forming in real time. Energy multiplies when hearts connect. Be part of that. If this message moved through you in a way that words fall short of describing, then you know someone in your life who is carrying the same ache, asking the same questions, sensing the same pull towards something they cannot yet name. Share this with them, not because it is content, because it is a transmission their soul may be waiting for. And if you felt your heart open here, stay close. Subscribe, because this is not the end of the conversation. This is the beginning of the remembrance. Your Pleiadian family is present. The council has spoken, and you, beloved, are just getting started.